In case you've been missing all of this OGL madness that Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro have been doing to the D&D community, Paizo just came out swinging, and I think they got a W. If you're unaware, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro have been trying to replace the open gaming license, which has kept D&D open. It has allowed fans and lovers of the system to make their own homebrew things. This license essentially allows them to do it. Now, what Hasbro and Wizards are trying to do is renege on this 20-some-odd-year-old agreement, a gentleman's agreement, which is no longer being treated as gentlemanly. Paizo and their games could definitely have been affected by any changes to this agreement. Now, Paizo has been very silent or very quiet up until this point, but they are quiet no longer, and they have not only dropped the mic, they have sucker punched Wizards. Let's take a look at some of what they've had to say. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit as we go through this. This is Paizo's response here. For the last several weeks, as news of Wizards of the Coast and the open game license has begun circulating among publishers on social media, and gamers have been asking what Paizo plans to do in light of Wizards' intention to deauthorize the existing open game license, OGL. We believe that any interpretation of the OGL 1.0 1.0a were intended to be revocable or deauthorized is incorrect, and with good reason. We were there.
Do not cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
Why is this such a baller statement? Well, that's because Lisa Stevens and Jim Butler, who were working at Dungeons & Dragons or Wizards of the Coast at that time, they were part of the team that drafted the open game license. Lisa Stevens is now the owner of Paizo, and Jim Butler is the president of Paizo. But we're not done there. Paizo goes on to say, we have no interest whatsoever in Wizards' new open game license. Instead, we have a plan that we believe will irrevocably, important phrasing here, and unquestionably keep alive the spirit of the open game license. Paizo had the foresight to move away from the open game license. What they are saying is that their products, Starfinder and Pathfinder 2e, are not part of the OGL. They include it so that others can create third-party works, can create their own content using the open game license. If Wizards goes through with their proposed changes, then that won't matter anymore. So with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Paizo moved away from anything that was part of the open game license and was basically their own property. They don't need the open game license. They say that they are prepared to fight this in court. I really hope it doesn't come to that. But not only have they protected themselves from their new editions, their new works, they have also made an interesting move, and they are gaining a lot of support. Let's see what they have to say. We believe, as we always have, that open gaming makes games better, improves profitability for all involved, and enriches the community of gamers who participate in this amazing hobby. And so, we invite gamers from around the world to join us as we begin our next great chapter of open gaming with the release of a new open, perpetual, and irrevocable open creative license, ORC, O-R-C. I love this. The acronym is beautiful. This new open gaming license Paizo is working on is being drafted through a legal team that they have. They have used them throughout their history to protect their intellectual property, but they are crafting it specifically to be open for all and irrevocable, as that has been a huge contentious sticking point in many people's arguments. The original OGL was not specifically listed as irrevocable. I'm not really trying to belabor the point on this, just know that Paizo is working to create a proper open legal framework. The law firm that they are using is called Azora Law. Now, Paizo is not alone in this endeavor. They go on to say this. In addition to Paizo, Kobold Press, Chaosium, Legendary Games, and a growing list of publishers that have already agreed to participate in the open RPG creative license. In the coming days, we hope and expect to add substantially to this group. I think they are doing exactly that. Paizo also states in their release that just due to development and printing and the way that future works of theirs have been done, you will still see the open gaming license for the next couple of releases, several releases of theirs, but they will be moving away from it and it will soon include their own ORC. Paizo also continues with a huge power move, some big Giga Chad energy. You gotta see this. If you were looking to get into Pathfinder, Starfinder, now is the best time to do so because, look at this. They even say this here. We hope that you will continue to support Paizo and other game publishers in this difficult time for the entire hobby. Yes, this has been a challenge. You can do your part by supporting many of the companies that have provided content under the OGL, support Pathfinder and Starfinder by visiting your local game store, subscribing to Pathfinder and Starfinder. Just as a side note, Paizo offers something called a subscription service, so you always have the latest release. You do not pay monthly for this subscription, you only pay when a book is released, and you will pay the sticker price of this book, but it is shipped to you. You also get the free PDF version included with your purchase. Or taking advantage of our discount code OpenGaming during checkout for 25%. That number is not a coincidence. Now, this coupon code is only good for the core rulebook for Pathfinder or the beginner box, which is actually a great starter set. And in true poetic fashion, they close off their letter to the community like this. We'll be there at your side. You can count on us to not go back on our word. Forever. Paizo Incorporated. If you needed any more reason to switch to either Starfinder or Pathfinder, I think this is a pretty good one in and of itself. And now comes for the shameless channel plug. If you are new, you haven't experienced me or the channel before, I talk about Starfinder. I do talk about other games as well, but I cover the lore of Starfinder and its setting. And I am soon to be adding Pathfinder to my list of games here. I will say that not every company is perfect, not every corporation should be trusted. However, I do believe that Paizo has its community at the forefront of their mind. They want to make good games, they want to make good products, they want to have their players be engaged, tell good stories. I truly believe that this company exists for the enjoyment of the hobby, not for turning the maximum amount of profit. This is absolutely huge news, probably the biggest move in the role-playing game space that we have seen. Very well played, Paizo. Now, if you'd like to know a little bit more about Starfinder and what class you might want to start off with, I have a video for you here. My name's Nathaniel. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.